Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. It's that time again when we bring you some random book for our weekly Obscurities in Literature. And this book comes to us today through the most roundabout of reasons. So, for those of you who are interested or aware of, or just, paying attention to what's going on in the video game world these days, with the release of Monster Hunter Wilds, I have been feeling very left out because I don't have a system that can run the game adequately or even at all, and have been forced to continue to play my older Monster Hunter games, which got me, as I said, in a roundabout way of thinking, oh yeah, didn't the Megaman game have a bunch of Monster Hunter collaborations in it? And you know what? It did. Because, well, it's Capcom, it's a portable gacha game, and why the heck not, right? So if you're not familiar with what I'm about to show you, we have the Rockman X Dive illustration book. And this is predominantly for a previously existing online service gacha game that I tried a few times and just could never really get into. And I'll be honest with you guys, I suck at Mega Man games. The original games, I was always okay. The X games, I enjoyed and did pretty decent. When we got to the Z stuff, oh man. I really tried. The Z stuff on the Game Boy Advance was just brutal. Those games were tough. Not in a fun way for me. And I tried like Gunvolt and a lot of those other modern ones. And I really can appreciate the style, the difficulty, and the detail that goes into it, but those just are not the games for me. Unfortunately. And that's okay, because not everybody likes every kind of game out there. I do, however, absolutely love and adore the designs of the various Mega Man, Rockman illustrations that have existed throughout all the various series. The .exe games, the Star Force games, the X stuff. I mean, they've all had really cool. You want Command Mission, you want to get really obscure. Axel, I think, was he? No, he wasn't even in that for the first one. I think it was like one of the X7 or something he was in. Which, if you haven't played a lot of Mega Man games, then you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but that's okay too. So, this was an interesting one because while it was originally an online service game, it did eventually hit that end of service and then transformed itself into an offline-only app that you can purchase with a one-time fee and then have access to, and still have access to all of the gacha stuff that was available in the game. You just didn't have real currency paying for any of it. So much like games like Battle Cats, Cats and the Commander, Metal Slug Advanced, or whatever it was called. Metal Slug, no, not Tactics. Was it Metal Slug Advanced? Anyway, there's a Metal Slug game. Awakening, maybe? Most of these are available through, like, the Play service. I know are on the Switch, because I have them all on the Switch, and I've played them all extensively on the Switch, even though I played most of them back when they were a thing live. I've enjoyed that kind of game play for many, many moons. But this game was kind of similar in that you actually went through various Mega Man stages. I'm going to refer to him as Mega Man, since that's what I know him as. And what's really cool about this book is you have, like, the major splash, illustration, portraits or whatever, but you get a lot of the background details and all the various angles that make up each suit of armor. And this game in particular was really cool about it because in order to feed that typical gacha fan frenzy that they're constantly looking for the new shiny in, you had a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily canon to the traditional Mega Man games, and you had all kinds of funky fun armor that characters could get as they played through it. There are also all kinds of other characters that are new to this game that I believe did not really have much of a presence in any of the other ones. And for some of the armor designs, you do get an assortment of early design sketches as well. Like Aiko, I don't know who Aiko is here. Maybe she's from one of the more recent games. Like I said, I feel like I capped out around X7 or 8, whichever was one of the last ones on the PlayStation 2. Remember playing that in college with my roommate. Remember playing Command Mission on the GameCube. Why on the GameCube? I don't know. Being a gacha game, you can pretty much guarantee that all of the women, whether they are human or robot, are going to end up in scantily clad costumes. Because that's just a thing. Along with Christmas, Valentine's, bridal, what have you. What's also cool about this is a lot of the bad guys got armor as well, which I thought was kind of cool. Gangsta Girl Eratone. Dokusono. Okay. I'm not even sure who she is, but we have a whole page of dedicated background art to her. And Jupiter. Again, no idea who some of these characters are, but the fact that they're in the game. Okay. Good old X, or Rockman X, in the various forms that you get. I do like that you have all of the icons as well, along with an in-game 3D model. Like I said, some of the armors you get a lot of the background artwork for, or at least other design concepts. Some of them you get actual sketches, and some of them you just get the big splash page. Like I said, there's so many different X armors, I don't know what's what anymore. Gaia Armor, Ultimate X, Shadow X, Black Zero, Awakened Zero, Nightmare Zero, Matsuri Zero. Like, even has special Matsuri skill icons. Again, here's Layer. I feel like she was from Command Mission or something, maybe. Again, not a gacha game without any kind of bridal outfits. Or scantily clad swimsuit outfits. Got the whole kit and caboodle for her. I don't know who these people are. Now, this is cool when you get into some of the weirder crossovers. We have the martial arts Dr. Light Sigma. Now, I gotta say, some of the alternate forms for Sigma are pretty neat. The Gangsta Boy Sigma in particular is kind of cool. I never understood Vile's Vava. Again, some of the boss monsters are available, which I thought was really cool. Colonel. I don't know who Gate is, but he's got all kinds of stuff here. I want to say most of the stuff from the ZX games ends up in here as well. Massimo looks really familiar, and I can't think of why. Roll. Various rolls. Easter roll. Of course, bass is in there. Forte, whatever you want to refer to him as. I love the fact that they have the trombone stuff in here too. Good old Volnut Megaman. Super bass. So again, if you're familiar with any of this stuff, I mean, even trombone's got a variety of costumes. Servobots. We got the .exe Megaman in here. I don't think he had all of his forms available, of which he had quite a few. Protoman.exe. There were a lot of different forms based on the various chips. Star Force in here. Budai's Rogue. Huh. I think she, yeah, no, Leviathan for sure. She was one of the ones from the ZX games. But again, she has a billion forms. Harupia, that's it. There's another one. Copy X doesn't look familiar. Omega. Who are half these people? Wasn't she like the operator or something for Zero in those games? We haven't even got to the ZX Zero. Now we're finally getting to the point that, okay, like I said, in a very roundabout way, there were a variety of Monster Hunter armor sets. So we have Rathalos, X, Janoga, Iris, And again, we get all the cool crossover background art. I love Jinoga or Zinogre or whatever you want to call him. The Kamarano one. Kamura Village. The Magmalo Hunter. Magai. Okay. So anytime I ever try to talk about Monster Hunter with my kid, who's like basically soloing Iceborne at this point by himself because he doesn't want to pay for PS Plus, neither of us know what the other is talking about, and we're both, I would say, pretty decent players of Monster Hunter in its various forms over the years. Him at this point has probably surpassed me, but that's what all parents aspire to, even if that's not much to say. But so many of the names of both items, monsters, stances, hunter arts, weapons, everything is completely different in both languages, so we both kind of have to sit there and decipher what the other is talking about based on looking through their inventory, which is always fun. Crimson Valstrax armor. I always love when he's flying around and sonic booming his way through the stage. Shigaru armor. That's a deep cut. I was just fighting him again the other day. And the Gora Magala. Aiko. In as tiny of underwear as possible, I guess. And then, not only that, but we also have the Devil May Cry stuff. I love how ridiculously big those feet are. So you have Ex Dante, but of course Zero gets to be Virgil, which has to be one of the coolest things. So I can remember playing the game and trying to get that and quitting and, rage quitting the game in frustration. Command Mission X is in there. Come on. How obscure of reference is that? Even like we get a bunch of the weird artwork and stuff. There's just a lot of cool stuff. Bosses. You don't get much in the way of the basic minions. There's a little bit in here, not a whole lot. Weapon designs, some quick interviews. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty thorough kind of crash course, I guess, in Mega Man history, all wrapped up in one book. Sure, you may not have all the extensive forms and boss monsters that the series is famous for, but you do get a nice selection from across the decades of games, which is kind of cool. And like I said, gives me that nice, tingly, nostalgic feeling for the fact that I've played a ton of it, but I also get to see some of the funky, weird stuff that I never got a chance to actually own. And I'm like, if they made the game available on something that I can actually use my controllers with, I probably would end up buying it again. I don't want to play it on a phone. I don't like playing platforming type games on phones. No thank you. But that's just me. If you guys are into that, you might want to check it out. In the meantime, this book is good enough for me in that regard. So, with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.